So good evening, and thank you all for coming tonight. We are looking to put together this workshop, or looking to present this workshop rather, on PSAT results and understanding results. In this presentation, you're going to hear from the beginning and when you're anticipating taking the PSAT to what impact that has for you as a learner, as a student in general. And we're going to hit on the specifics and the really deep rudimentary aspects of your score. Most folks think that the PSAT and the SAT are only relevant if you're going to college, and that is not necessarily true. It's not true at all, or completely true, and it depends on your intentions for school, what you may gather from taking the PSAT. So we'll get to all of that, but before I do, I'm Dr. Thompson. I'm the principal of Farmingdale High School, and this has been a part of our initiative for some years. The district supports us in offering the PSAT so that students can take it while they're here at school. Saturdays are harder to get to, but during the week we can capture those who are interested in taking the PSAT, and it's supported by the school district. So thank you to our Board of Ed for continuing to support this initiative, and thank you guys who have decided to challenge yourself, or at least take on these assessments to see where you fall. I'm joined tonight by Ms. Karen Molina, the interim director of guidance and social work, and she has brought along two guidance counselor colleagues of hers and mine, Mr. Francis Mayhofer and Ms. Christine Dewhurst. So they will really offer the specifics to your score and to where this is going to play out for you as a student. I know we have students in the audience, and I know we have parents in the audience, and I want to also thank you all for tuning in and prioritizing this workshop for what it means regarding the PSAT. So what we'll do tonight, and what you'll gather out of the workshop, first I'm going to talk a little bit about the purpose and why we've done this for some time now. You'll hear about next steps and a plan for students when they're looking at their scores. And then by the end, you're going to understand fully the score report and how it's broken out, so that hopefully you have more understanding of where this fits in to your context as a student. So we started with this offering for all students, and especially grades 9 was probably the most recent implementation, for the purpose of exposing students to more challenging assessments that could give you implications of where you may end up after high school. In a career that you're interested in, and whether it's a trade school, college, or the armed services, you'll still gather a barometer or a baseline for a particular score you get on the PSAT that you can measure for readiness in those three areas that I just mentioned. So the score itself is still going to give you a measure, a predictability score, a projected score on where you may end up. It also helps predict success in college. It's broken out where you can predict success for freshman year, where you can predict success for courses in college. So there's really a lot you can gather. Also relevance for an AP course, but at the end of the day, there's a baseline score that gives you a measure against kids in our region, in our state, in the country, for all kids in this same cohort, in the same grade level. So it is exposure in many ways to college and career readiness, and it gives you a baseline of where you measure up. It'll also help you start to explore some of the achievement resources that we provide as a district. Khan Academy is free to everyone if you log on, and you'll hear more information about Khan Academy in our presentation. Method Test Prep, another service that the district provides. Through Castle Learning, you'll access Method Test Prep, which is really a very specific SAT prep course. So by using these practice assessments and Method Test Prep, you don't need an SAT tutor. You don't need someone to work with you on math and reading and writing skills, because it's in an online format for you to practice on, same as Khan Academy. Khan Academy will be linked directly to your PSAT score, and you'll hear more about that in our presentation as well. So those are resources that are available to you. by the district, and on the district website, on the high school website, on the guidance website, there are different areas where you can link under student resources. You'll also find these, and they're good practice in general for math or reading, writing, ELA skills in general. So it could only be that you're trying to fix some issues that you had in your math class or in your ELA class. It also supports metacognition or self-assessment, the ability for you to know where you fall and where you are, where your strengths are and where your weaknesses are. It provides a benchmark for students who are entering high school, students who are in 10th grade, who are in 11th grade. It gives you a sense of where you fall relative to others who have taken the PSAT. So another good, again, as I mentioned at the onset, a barometer for where you add up. And then finally, in your junior year, it's going to be a real important time for you to consider what's happening for your plan for life after high school, where you expect to end up for a plan and a goal for after high school. And at the last bullet that you see up here has to do with how it informs us. Where are we seeing instructional gaps? Where are we seeing kids struggle in a broad sense? And where might we need to adjust curriculum and provide more resources or more lessons or more teaching for kids in general across a cohort? So a lot of different reasons why there's real strong purpose behind providing the PSAT to all of our students. And with that, I'm going to turn over our presentation to Ms. Carmelina, our Interim Director of Guidance, and she's going to take you through the next series of slides.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining us this evening. My name is Carmelina. I am the Interim Director of Guidance. And tonight we're going to go through, as Dr. Thompson said, the PSAT. So here we go with the first slide of the evening. And Dr. Thompson really did a very nice job of explaining a lot of the information. So we'll go in a little bit deeper into some of these areas. Okay, so how is the PSAT NMSQT used? So this gives an idea where students will stand with college admissions, and so that will help a student looking at that. So as Dr. Thompson had mentioned, we start with the PSAT in 9th grade, we have it again in 10th grade, and the 11th grade. And the intention behind that is that each year the student is able to not only experience a long test as the PSAT is, but get improvement because the curriculum of each year adds. So each year you'll see an improvement in the score. So in your junior year, it serves as a qualifying test for the National Merit Scholarship Competition. When you do surveys, when your students are taking the PSATs and they bubble if they want information, you're going to get a lot of mail from colleges and scholarship opportunities. It also gauges students' college readiness with the benchmarks. And also it helps students to see which AP courses they may feel like they want to take. So how is it not used? So we want to tell you that PSATs are not in any way used for college admissions. It is a practice. That's what the P is before the SAT. Completely practice. So we want to take away the stress for students, and that's why we give them many opportunities to prepare and take the practice test. And this is a very important piece. It does not determine students going into advanced courses, or it does not prevent a student from going into an AP course. So I just want to make sure everyone is clear with that. So in no way would a student be penalized or the scores on a PSAT prevent the student from entering the more rigorous courses. We encourage the rigor. And of course, just so everyone knows, it is not the sole determination of a student's future. So that is a very important thing. we have to, the schools, if a student is using it for a college purpose, when they take the SAT, it is just one piece of a large puzzle. So accessing the scores, so this is important. So students were called down and they were given their PSAT books and their score report. I do have handouts here, and in the morning tomorrow I will make sure that that is all on the website for parents and students. So probably before noon, I will make sure that all the handouts for grades 9, 10, and 11, I made sure that each one of them is separate, and we'll make sure that that's out there for everyone to have access to. We want to make sure that if you have an existing account, you're signing in to access your scores. You're going to collegeboard.org. That's how you get in. If you already have an account, you're going to be using your username and your password that you previously created. It's very important that you always save and write down in a very private place what your username and your passwords are. And you have to really be careful that you do that and make sure that you have them saved somewhere, because sometimes it is a little bit difficult at times when you think you have an account and you're using one and then you want to change your email, and that's when you have to contact College Board directly to make those changes. So that's not something that is taken care of at the school, but if a student has issues with that and difficulty, we have often helped students with that. Okay, so more about the scores and the score ranges and what the mean is and the average and the benchmarks. The score report shows the mean, the average, and the scores earned, and it's per grade. So benchmark scores represent the college readiness, percentile ranks, and things of that nature. So where does your child fall? Where does the student fall? Is the student at or below where they need to be? And that's where all this assistance with extra help and free extra help comes in very handy. So the PSAT and NMSQT, these are the benchmarks for 10th grade, 430, 480. So it's the evidence-based reading and writing and the math. And then for 10th grade, you see it improved for a 460, and the math went from a 480 to a 510. So that's how they show from each grade how students improve. So how is this information used? Or how do you use this information, actually? So one of the very nice things about the score report is that it really shows very nicely how students are doing or how they did on their particular test. So what you'll see is the right or wrong answer, the level of the difficulty, answer and the explanation, and the sub-score. So I'm going to let Mr. Meyerhofer, he's one of the guidance counselors, and he's going to talk a little bit more about the sub-scores.
Okay, for the sub-scores, there's 7 sub-scores. In the old days when we had the handout for the children, we used to break down the 7 scores on the sheet that we handed out to the students, but they've changed that now. So in order to get the sub-scores for all 7 sub-scores, you have to go online into the student's access code, then you'll see the 7 sub-scores. There are 4 for English, which they've broken down into command of evidence, words in context, expression of ideas, and standard English conventions. Those are the 4 for English, and there's 3 math sub-scores: part of algebra, problem solving, and data analysis, and then passport to advanced math. So we always tell the students, in order to get the best practice from preparing for the SAT, is to go into their account and look at their sub-scores. Because the sub-scores will give them a grade from 1 to 15, and it'll be rated. They'll see a scale. It's colored If it's in the green, it means it's good. If it's in the yellow, it means it needs some support. But they can actually go in and look at questions based upon those sub-scores and look at those questions, so they really want to get into detail about what specific things that they need to work on, which is why the PSAT score report is so important. It's specific to your child's needs. So it's really important to go in and look at the sub-scores, but you can really pinpoint questions based upon those sub-scores. So that's what we always tell the students, the best way to practice studying for the SAT is to look at their previous PSAT results, because it shows their specific strengths and weaknesses. Okay?
Thank you, Mr. Mayhopper. So this is what the score report looks like. We felt like it was really important for parents and families and students to see what the report looks like. So this is this is just a sample. Your summary score report, you'll see the student has a score, and that is from out of a 15-20. And you'll see that it's broken down from the evidence-based reading and writing, and you'll see that there is a benchmark for each. So the red means that the student needs a little bit more help. The yellow is where the student is at level, and the green is showing that the student is really exceeding the level of what was expected. So you'll see the two scores, the 430 and the 530. So, which gives you the 960 out of the 1520. Really very important, or what we really speak about with the students all the time, is going on to psat.org/myscores for that full report. The full report is really beneficial. They really, they download all the information, so when students go in, they can do the tests, and their practice is really specifically for that individual student. So we also have what is the National Merit Scholarship Program, and you'll see that students on their score report will have a score. Now this particular person had a 139, and what that means is that they double the scores. I'll go back one, and you'll see where it says 23, 20, and 26, they double the scores, and they come up with the score, and the score will deem whether the student is eligible for the National Merit Scholarship Program. And here we have what is my level, my question, level, and feedback, and this is one of the things, again, that is so important. When we hand back the books to the students and their individual score report, they, on the back page, you'll see, and I gave you a handout, is that you have an overview of the questions, so you'll see reading, you'll see the math, and you'll see all the different areas, and then with the reading, you'll see that there's the question, and if the answer is correct, or the correct answer, I apologize, your answer, and the difficulty level. So you could really see what areas need to be focused on for improvement. So it's really a great tool. It really is a great resource, a great tool. You go onto psat.org/myscore, and again, you'll see the calculator section, the section that doesn't have the non-calculator section, and so it's very nice to see, and it all broken out for you. So what are the next steps? We always want students every year to take the most challenging classes that they can take. So that is going to be really, really important. Link your scores with Khan Academy. We want to, and sometimes we do this, with the students when they come in and we start having conversations about how to improve their scores. Really setting up a time where they can have an uninterrupted period, let's say an hour or so, where they can set that time up uninterrupted and log in and do that practice. So it's really extremely valuable. So setting up a practice plan and sticking to it. Obviously, very important, registering for the SAT, and utilize resources and research and prepare for college. So here is the official SAT practice with Khan Academy. It's all free. you go to satpractice.org and you create a free account. So everything, which is best thing possible, is everything is free. There is no need to go out and spend a lot of money on private tutors because this is all free to all the students here to take advantage of. So get personalized recommendations, link your Khan Academy account to College Board, and get your personalized recommendations, create the plan, select the test, date, and practice. So practice, how do you practice with Khan Academy? They have thousands of test questions. So practice tests, time tests, they'll show you the recommendations of strengths and weaknesses, and test-taking tips and strategies. So it's just an amazing resource. So this, I really feel like this video really sums up everything, and I want to say, I really have to say, I felt like it was something extremely valuable to share with everyone tonight. I felt like it was really sums up what we were talking about this evening.
Congratulations on taking the PSAT NMSQT. Now it's time to see your scores, which you can get on your phone or a computer. The first thing you'll see is your total score, which is a combination of your scores on the evidence-based reading and writing and math sections. These scores give you an idea of how you'll do on the SAT and how ready you are for college. Your test scores, cross-test scores, and sub-scores give you even more details about how you did in specific areas. Scores in green show your strengths. Scores in yellow and red help you understand where you need to improve. Go to Skills Insight to dig even deeper and see what your scores say about your skills and how you can develop them further. Thinking about your scores and making a plan to improve are important steps towards college. The PSAT NMSQT has provided millions of eligible students with the opportunity to enter the National Merit Scholarship Program, an annual academic competition for recognition and scholarships. Go to the NMSC Selection Index section to see if you meet the entry requirements. You can also use your PSAT NMSQT scores to start preparing for the SAT. Go to satpractice.org to create and link your College Board and Khan Academy accounts to get started. Your PSAT NMSQT test scores will get imported into Khan Academy and give you a personalized SAT study plan to help you practice the areas where you need the most work. Most students take the SAT in the spring of their junior year and again in August or the fall of their senior year. Don't forget to register. Taking challenging classes is another great way to prepare for college. The AP Potential section of your score report tells you which AP classes would be great for you. Speak to your teacher or a counselor to learn more about AP. You can also explore careers based on your interests and then find compatible college and career options. Here's a quick recap. Don't forget to review your scores, learn more about scholarship and recognition opportunities, practice and register for the SAT, find the AP classes that are best for you, and explore college and career options. Congratulations on taking the
So I think if you realize that really kind of sums everything up. It just puts it all together in a very nice, concise way. If your children, if the students out there have not stopped down to the guidance office and picked up their test booklets, if they have not received their score reports, we've been actively calling students down. Please encourage and please come down, pick them up. This is really quite beneficial for all students. We're all looking to, work closely with you to create your plan for the future. We're going to be doing college search in the classroom with 11th grade students starting the week of February 1st. Junior planning meetings conferences start March 14th, and the guidance number is listed. If you'd like to make an appointment, we encourage you to do so. And the curriculum guides were mailed out at the end of last week, so I'm hoping that all the families have started to receive them. And if you haven't received one, please feel free to send your child in or call the guidance office, and we'll make sure we get you a copy. And again, I will make sure that I have these handouts on the website probably before noon tomorrow, so anyone who is watching this live stream can have an opportunity to get all this also. And I thank you all for coming out, and if you have any questions, we'd be more than happy to answer them now.
Okay, if there are no questions here in our live audience, I'm just going to, you guys are going to have, Joe, go ahead. For NMSQT, the National Merit Scholarship qualification. The process will start as soon as you're done taking the PSAT, and they group you according to everyone who has taken it across the country. Come up with a cut score for who's going to qualify for National Merit Scholarship semis, and from there you're invited to apply.
So that would have been the October, the 11th grade PSAT,
This year.
October 13th.
Any other questions? All right, so I'm going to wrap by thanking everyone out there in the virtual world or online, and our folks here who are live. I want to thank Mrs. Molina, our interim director of guidance, Mr. Mayerhofer, and Ms. Dewhurst, who added to our presentation and our workshop on PSAT results. And I hope you guys are more informed on why and our purpose, and then at the end, how to make sure that you take advantage of resources we offer at the school to prepare for the next steps, whether they be taking the PSAT again, or it is about taking the SAT at this point, where you measure up for your choices after high school is really what the assessment will bring to you. So thanks again. Another bit of good news, Farmingdale had a commanding lead over Massapequa in the boys swim meet right now, so that's something to applaud. Good night, guys, and thanks again. Bye-bye.